What do Martin Luther King Jr., Steve Jobs, and the Wright brothers all have in common? They all started with why. That's the central thesis of Simon Sinek's groundbreaking book, Start with Why: How Great Leaders Inspire Everyone to Take Action. In this video, we're going to dive deep into Sinek's concepts, his golden circle model, real-world examples, powerful quotes, and ideas that will push you to rethink how you lead, communicate, and inspire. Let's begin. Part 1. The core premise: people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Simon Sinek opens his book with a powerful question. Why are some people and organizations more innovative, more influential, and more profitable than others? It's not because they have better products. It's not even because they have more marketing budget. It's because they start with why, the purpose, cause, or belief that inspires them. Quote, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe." In today's world, many people focus solely on what they do or how they do it. But Sinek urges us to flip the script. The most inspiring leaders, and the most impactful companies, always start with why. Part 2. The Golden Circle. To make his idea crystal clear, Sinek introduces the Golden Circle, a simple yet powerful visual model that consists of 3 concentric circles. The outermost circle is what. This is what you do, your product, your job, your service. The middle circle is how. These are your values, principles, differentiators. The innermost circle is why. This is your purpose, your mission, your cause. Most people and organizations communicate from the outside in. They start with what they do, then talk about how they do it, and often never get to why. But the most inspiring leaders and organizations do the opposite. They communicate from the inside out. Quote, "Very few people or companies can clearly articulate why they do what they do. By why I mean your purpose, cause, or belief. Why does your company exist? Why do you get out of bed every morning? And why should anyone care?" Starting with why appeals directly to the limbic brain, the part of our brain responsible for decision-making, emotions, and behavior. It doesn't understand language, but it understands feelings and trust. That's why starting with why is so powerful. It taps into the part of the brain that truly drives behavior. Part 3. Biology in the brain. This isn't just marketing theory. Sinek explains that the golden circle mirrors how the human brain works. The what level corresponds to the neocortex, which is responsible for rational and analytical thought. But the why and how correspond to the limbic brain, which is responsible for feelings, loyalty, and decision-making, and it has no capacity for language. Quote, "The limbic brain is responsible for all of our feelings like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior and decision-making, but it has no capacity for language. That's why you can give people all the facts and data in the world, but if they don't feel emotionally connected to your purpose, they won't be inspired to act." Part 4. Manipulation versus inspiration. Most companies use manipulation to drive sales, things like price drops, fear, peer pressure, promotions, and novelty. And while these tactics work in the short term, they don't create loyalty. Quote, "There are only 2 ways to influence human behavior. You can manipulate it or you can inspire it. Manipulation might get someone to buy once. Inspiration gets someone to stay with you for a lifetime. This is where your why becomes a game changer. Loyalty comes from alignment. When people believe what you believe, they'll go to extraordinary lengths for you." Part 5. Apple, a company that starts with why. Perhaps the most well-known example in the book is Apple. Apple doesn't just make computers or phones. They challenge the status quo. They believe in thinking differently. Their why is rooted in empowering the individual. Here's how Apple might communicate using the golden circle. Why? We believe in challenging the status quo. How? We do that by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. What? We just happen to make great computers and phones and devices. Quote, "Apple's products give life to their cause, to empower the individual." This approach resonates on a deep, emotional level with their customers. That's why people camp outside Apple stores for product launches. They're not just buying a phone. They're buying into a belief system. Part 6. The Law of Diffusion of Innovation. Sinek introduces the Law of Diffusion of Innovation, which explains how ideas spread through a population. Here's how it breaks down. 2.5% innovators, 13.5% early adopters, 34% early majority, 34% late majority, 16% laggards. The tipping point comes when you reach about 15 to 18% of market penetration. That's when the idea takes off. The innovators and early adopters buy into your why. They don't need proof, they believe what you believe. If you can win them over, the early and late majority will follow. Quote, "The goal is not to do business with everyone who needs what you have. The goal is to do business with people who believe what you believe." Part 7. Leaders and Organizations that Inspire. The Wright brothers weren't the only ones trying to build a flying machine. Samuel Pierpont Langley had more money, better resources, and government backing. But he lacked one thing: purpose. The Wright brothers had no funding and no formal education, but they had a dream, a why, to give people the gift of flight. And because they believed deeply in their cause, they succeeded where Langley failed. Great leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. didn't just give people a plan. They gave them a vision. His famous speech wasn't, "I have a plan," it was, "I have a dream." Quote, "Those who lead inspire us. We follow them not because we have to, but because we want to." True leaders don't just hold positions of power. They hold purpose. And people are drawn to purpose. Part 8. Clarity, Discipline, and Consistency. Sinek outlines 3 key components for starting and maintaining a why-driven approach. Clarity of why: you must know and communicate your purpose clearly. Discipline of how: your values and principles must be consistent. Consistency of what: every product, message, and action must align with your why. Without all 3, your why will fall apart. Clarity leads to trust. Trust leads to loyalty. Loyalty leads to advocacy. Part 9. The Celery Test. To determine if your actions align with your why, Sinek offers a tool called the celery test. Let's say someone tells you to buy M&Ms and cookies to be successful. Someone else says celery and rice milk. But if your why is to live a healthy lifestyle, you'll go with the celery and rice milk. Not because they're better, but because they match your purpose. Quote, "When you know your why, you'll make better choices and everything you do will make sense." This is about filtering decisions. Not every opportunity fits your mission. Knowing your why helps you say no to the wrong things, even if they seem popular or profitable. Part 10. Find people who believe what you believe. You don't need to convince the whole world. You need to connect with people who already believe what you believe. When you find those people, your tribe, your influence grows naturally. Quote, "All organizations start with why, but only the great ones keep their why clear year after year." It's not about pretending to care. It's about truly living your why. Part 11. A personal why, for individuals too. Start with why isn't just for businesses. It's for anyone who wants to live a life of meaning and influence. What drives you? What's your personal why? When you start with why, your job becomes more than just work. Your relationships become more intentional. Your path becomes more focused. Quote, "If we want to feel an undying passion for our work, if we want to feel we are contributing to something bigger than ourselves, we all need to know our why." Final thoughts. Simon Sinek's Start with Why is a wake-up call. It's a reminder that success is not just about what you sell or how well you execute. It's about why you exist. It's about why people should care. Start with why and everything else will follow. Because at the end of the day, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it.